What if I say to you what you do you know about the snake from books being absolutely wrong? What story Adam and Eve hides so deep secret? What she may be forever change your sight on origin humanity? This seems unlikely. Watch it to the end, this video to the end, and you will find what is hiding for snake much more fascinating and disturbing. How all what you ever have you heard. Earlier all we know classical history. Adam lived in Eden garden in harmony by snake not convinced Eve eat forbidden fetus result fall. Humanity. But what if this story was something big? How just morality about obedience and punishment? What if snake not was simple? Snake, get ready, that's why what we are getting ready research that what will throw call to all yours representations about this narration. Let's start with central figures. This story's snake traditional are considering how symbol evil liars bring Eve and therefore everything humanity to destruction. But you know what's in the original Jewish textbooks being word denoting snake on hash has much more deep layers. Meanings, and here then all becomes for real interesting. Word naha maybe means snake but also maybe be translated how fortune teller or even sorcerer. We have dealing with something much more complex. How just crawling creature? Only imagine snake could be much big. How simple animal on in itself business. She could be creature with supernatural knowledge or even divine being. And if this truth what this means for total narratives books being ovate with Poe hidden the truth which many more not realized on throughout centuries. Scientists and theologians argued about true personalities. Snake, some they claim what follows understand metaphorically how symbol chaos or even divine rebel. Other assume what snake maybe be symbolic figure personifying forces much more strong. How simple deception. Now imagine Salim in itself business was figure similar on Prometheus. In Greek mythologies, yes, Prometheus that who abandoned call to the gods to bring to humanity fire knowledge. What if snake on in itself business was figure which gave to humanity ability distinguish good and evil? This seems absurd. Maybe be not so many. How do you think? Stay with me and find out why many scientists they think what is this analogy has meaning. Let's watch on ancient cultures. Near East we see what snake not always considered evil creatures. Actually in many mythologies they were symbols wisdom and even immortality. For example, in ancient Mesopotamia god Natsu associated with the underground peace and vegetation often depicted as snakes. So what this speaks a snake in Eden maybe be also was something related to deep knowledge and divine by force. This new vision fully changes our sight on snake instead of Togo to be just villain in history or can consider how figure with much more complex and ambiguous role. Maybe snake not just tried to deceive Eve but offered that what she not could ignore the key to knowledge to truth understanding existence. Music is more precious. How Eve could to yourself introduce. Now let's focus on promise which snake gave Eve. Remember you accurate words not you will die eyes yours you will open up to you will be how God knowing good and evil. At first this seems simple lied by deception called knock down get Eve out of the way. But what if this was not lie what aim to our measure partially? Think about it. What is happening after Togo? How you eat fruit eyes Adam and Eve open and they start understand good and evil. Really not this promised snake. Certainly they not died immediately and were expelled from Eden and doomed on mortal life. Maybe this be partial truth with consequences. This question let's down CRE. What if would snake not was purely evil? That what we are getting ready research maybe surprise you more in the next some minutes. Let's analyze how this figure snakes connected with others ancient mythology and what this maybe tell. Let's talk about her true nature. Stay with me. After all let's start to solve secrets. This stories in some ancient cultures snake symbolized wisdom but also chaos. For example, in Egyptian mythologies we find Apophis giant snake personifies was deadly enemy Ra God the sun and its constant battle symbolized eternal struggle between order and disorder. Now think about it, that's what it's about. What on in itself business brought in the serpent in Eden to life. Adam and Eve, this was not just disobedience and chaos, loss, innocence and introduction. New order where knowledge and freedom will steal part human experience. Let's stop and reflect. You start you understand what serpent in Eden in the garden maybe be not just villain, maybe he plays much more important and profound role in history humanity. Maybe this symbol permanent conflict between an order and Chaos between blind subordination and search knowledge and history. Adam and ISA can consider how first step on paths humanity to self-awareness and freedom will. But wait, this more not all. What if I say to you what's in the figure snakes? There's more hidden layers. What if it connected with something more grandiose, something what comes out for framework Togo, what biblical texts open on first look by not leave, because in blind minutes snake could be part more large plan which includes not only fall humanity but also is redemption. Adam and Eve were expelled from music, Eden. What this exile was not just punishment on in itself, business. Maybe this was beginning something much more. You someday were thinking about it. Why God allowed this? What if would snake knew what will happen? What if having suggested fetus Eve she's in some meaning beginning cycle which will lead to complete development humanity continue follow further, because what next you will see what serpent in Eden maybe was the key to the divine plan, much more complex how we ever could. To yourself introduce now when we started understand what snake maybe not so simple how seems it came time go deeper. I am open what snake in the book being maybe be symbol primitive chaos, yes chaos, but before how you will connect this is with something strictly negative. Allow me to explain. In many ancient cultures chaos was not only destructive but there was starting point for creation, and this lets down us to the new question, what this maybe say is Roma in Eden Garden vh myology or Drana. For example, in Babylon mythologies there is monster Tiamat, snake or dragon personifying primitive chaos. She strength which Marduk god order must win to create world. Exactly. Also in Scandinavian mythologies Jormungand snake Midgard surrounds peace and threatens destroy as in time Ragnarok. Scandinavian apocalypse. You see here regularity snakes chaos creation, and what this has attitude to being much more how you can to yourself introduce what will happen when Eve and Adam will be eaten. Fetus order existed in the garden broken, but what comes on shift? Humanity acquires consciousness. Chaos, disobedience, sweat, innocence brings new order knowledge and choice. Idea maybe show up amazing but she acquires meaning. If we will see on narration books being in the new light, think about it to Togo how eat fetus. Adam and Eve lived in a state innocence, they not knew good and evil, not be ashamed. His nudity in their existence was clean obedience to God, but when they ate fetus their eyes opened, they received knowledge, and with it the answer. Me pauses their eat fetus maybe was not just agent destruction but catalyst transformations. Here result in many ancient traditions. Chaos not was considered how something purely negative, he was driving by force changes, and this exactly that what we see here. Snake prince chaos but also gave to humanity pulse necessary for develop him. Willow remained would be able to ignorance, but together with him they started face dilemmas and problems which formed human fate. But wait, this more not everything I want you thought about it, that's what it's about. What if would snake was not just symbol chaos but also knowledge? Yes, in history being snake barks to God, but this offer has my price. What this is teaches this knowledge always has consequences. Search knowledge is both a blessing and a curse, and not this we see again and again in history. Humanity curiosity led us to the great discoveries, but it also brought unexpected tests. Now do you understand how this story state related human can rate how knowledge curiosity which moves us but also puts us into risky situations like this way. Figure snake in being transforms into something much more deep. She represents by yourself human pursuit surpass search more how is given we all more only. Let's start research layers of this narrative. Stay with me, that's why what below we will understand how snake could be part much more plan divine plan which included not only fall humanity but also his redemption. Adam and Eve expelled from garden, but was Lee on this end stories or this only starts something much more? Are you going to this to know by we already started to realize what snakes in Eden in the garden not so simple how seems number which on first look maybe show deceptively matchmaker more deep word with what on in itself business personified snake and what was his true target. Get ready, after all that what to you to come open will force you doubt not only in history Adam and Eve but also in the role which snake played into all human creation, and I can guarantee to you what to you not you will want to leave now. That's why what we collect we explored opportunity Togo what snake maybe be symbol chaos or knowledge, but What if I say to you what snake on in itself business maybe follow much more large-scale plan in which maybe participated myself God yes this maybe show up strange but stay with me that's why what's in it biblical text there's hints which assume something much more grandiose how simple fall humanity firstly let's consider question which few who often raises why God at all allowed snake get access to Adam and Eve think about it God omniscient total of this narratives what if would snake played important role in development humanity what if Shion in itself business was fundamental part divine plan by transformation humanity into something more you can wonder question how such could be maybe to understand this us need to more attentively consider concept freedoms will in the narrative being of Adam and Eve was opportunity choice them not was required there's fruits snake not forced there they on one's own accepted solution not obey to God this speaks about that what freedom will was integral part human creations but here critical moment freedom will has meaning only in that case if exists opportunity disobedience without of this choice without of this temptations Adam Willow were would doomed on automatic obedience tell God or he wanted something more complex for humanity snake in this context performs catalyst of this choice this represents by yourself opportunity for Adam and Eve fully show free will and here most intriguing moment what if would snake knew about this from the very beginning what if offering fetus Eve snake pursued much more great I will show you the goal to you why this I'd has more meaning how seems but at first allow me to me ask to you question we're thinking about it. Lee you someday really Lee temptation snake was something outside God's control or this was part divine plan from the very beginning stay with us because what we are getting ready in detail study this question in itself text being after falls Adam and Eve God does fascinating statement here human became similar alone from onto the knowledgeable Doro and evil stop on take a minute and think about this the falls of man Adam and Eve lived in a state innocence not I distinguish good and evil but having eaten fetus they acquired this one ability to you this nothing not reminds snake promised Eve what if she will eat fetus her eyes they will open and she will too will become similar to God knowing good and evil and what happened then God confirmed what this truth this speaks about that what snake some kind of way not at all lied against she offered the truth but the truth with complex consequences here arises deep theological question what if would God allowed this temptation that's why what it was part more wide process human development think about it about this innocence Adam and Eve was in some meaning form protection but also in form restrictions no good silt from EMS garden but at the same time they're introduced to a new one phase their existence phase where them will have to accept conscious solutions where will freedom will important part yours life and snakes was trigger crochet for of this. But this more not end this stories this something more much more one. Question which read under discussion what happened with snake pos falls Adam was proct right on womb yours you will be walk and you will there is dust in all days life yours this seems obvious on first sight but what this on in itself business means exist interpretations which assume what snake to falls of man could be the highest creature maybe to his own falls snake occupied visible position in the garden this makes think about it we have Lee we case smzh assume some ue or in this figure there is something more mysterious what if I would say to you what snake can consider how reflection Prometheus not only bearing fire knowledge but also patient for this consequences let's consider this one idea Prometheus in Greek mythology's abandoned call to the gods brought to humanity while Simia and now compare this with serpent in being he pre to humanity knowledge good and evil and for this was convicted impossible ignore parallel between these two figures both throw call divine and order both carry knowledge. And both they pay for him high price but was Lee snake really by force evil or she was? Would tragic figure his own genus anti-heroes in the narrative? Think about it together with me if snake played so important role in history humanity was Lee inevitable act eating fruit was Lee this part God's plan from the very beginning to humanity passed through this process falls and redemption if to you seems what this idea sounds suddenly wait by not you will hear what will further we only let's start to solve secret here's why about the World Cup God placed tree knowledge good and evil in Eden in the garden knowing what it represents by your self-temptation and what more important why he allowed snake get there to Eve answer on These questions maybe lie in the most nature free wills and roles which plays snake how conductor changes remember freedom will real only then when there is opportunity choice without snake not was real choice like this way snake can consider how mechanism allowing fully implement freedom will now let's go further story falls Adam and Eve this not only story disobedience and punishment, by essence this story about evolution about development humanity to consciousness and understanding snake. Having suggested fetus Eve in some meaning mouth. And responsibility will become central this not something unique for biblical traditions in various mythologies by to everything to the world we find similar stories about creatures which carrying knowledge to humanity suffered from consequences but also forever changed human reality here provocative idea what if would snake vnzm already show up illogical but think about it without snake humanity left. Would be in the garden leading life in obedience and innocence, but with intervention snake. Humanity bailout and freedom well what if this was exactly that what God planned from the very beginning was leave fall in some meaning part process elevations I know humanity what this maybe show up radical with a glance but think about it here is about the World Cup God not destroyed humanity after falls of man he not left Adam and Eve against he continued lead humanity providing means atonement this suggests what fall not was by chance or perhaps necessary part. Great plan both for humanity having far not about villain, music, important role now think about. It on wait a minute what this speaks us about the role. Knowledge and freedom will in our today's life what if choice which we do temptations with which we collide in some kind or reflection togo the most trips which it has begun with serpent and Eden in the garden would have struggled between good and evil chaos in order this there is something much more narratives this question sounds the same this day. An answer maybe be closer how we think now when you know some deep consequences image snake and Eden in the garden we are getting. Ready log in more mysterious measurement of this. Narratives lets we explore question which few dared raise what if snake was not just symbol chaos and knowledge an important figure in the plan atonement humanity we're thinking about it. Lee you someday about that what without snake move human stories was would absolutely different and not in a positive way key get ready that's why what you are you going to open this something what more will throw call to yours understanding Bible's destinies humanity and even ours relationship with the divine stay with me to end after all this revelation may be. Change VSM touched upon previously but which now requires special attention free will Adam and Eve were placed in Eden garden with one clear rule not there is fruits from the tree knowledge good and evil and we know what under influence snake Eve not obeyed to this rule what led to the fall humanity but think about it on wait a minute for what to God placed this tree in the middle garden knowing what temptation more togo why he allowed snake personifications get access to Adam and Eve was Lee. This event just mistake failure divine plan or how we. Now let's find out was Lee this exactly themes what God planned from the very beginning before how we will answer on this question allow me to ask to you another we're thinking about it. Lee you someday what is it? Was true creation certainly God wanted obedient humanity but wanted Lee blind obedience without questions without conscience or he wished creations which with time acquired would wisdom insight and responsibility that what you will find maybe you surprise fall not was the end relationships between God and humanity this was beginning something. Godot more led humanity to its final purpose but what is will this fate to answer on this question us need to return to text being after Togo how Adam and Eve ate fetus God speaks now human became how one from us knowing good and evil here decisive moment humanity having found this knowledge start have feature which earlier was exceptional for divine think about it about this before how eat fetus Adam and Eve, not had insight yes they were innocent but also ignorant in many relationships. Snake offering fetus offered them something what will raise their on new level existence and this elevation had consequences this truth what they're expelled from garden but along with this exile responsibility came too for construction his own stories now think about it on instant what if would fall not was mistake what if would snake not was simple villain what if exile from Eden step by step. For achievements humanity is final destinies to you this seems radical idea maybe but stay with me. That's why. What am I going to do? Show to you what this interpretation has much more meaning. How seems remember without fruit, without knowledge, goodwill o remained would be able to eternal innocence, living in the blind and automatic obedience, but was Lee this God's plan for humanity, or he wanted to his creation became something big, something capable, accept conscious solutions, and grow thanks to his own choice. Think about it about this on wait a minute. God gave to humanity freedom will, and freedom will has meaning that all sha opportunity choice, and this choice how we saw became real only thanks to Snake. Let's do it more one step forward. If Snake was part of this great plan, then his presence in the garden not was no by chance, no mistake, she was there by some reason. What if this cause concluded exactly in that, to offer to humanity opportunity, overcome my initial innocence and enter into the process and moral growth? This one idea maybe be difficult except on first sight. But think about it, what great human trips always include moments, trials, and temptations. What if temptation? Snake was first great test humanity trial, which although it led to his fall, but also paved the way path to redemption. Now let's stop and reflect over themes what this on in itself business means. If Snake is part more great plan which suggests redemption humanity, that fall was necessary step in this process, and the most interesting that what this corresponds many to others mythological and religious stories by to everything to the world. Remember for example Prometheus in Greek mythologies, which brought to people fire knowledge and was for this punished, or in the most concepts atonement in Christianity, Jesus Christ dead for sins, humanity offering redemption and opportunity, new life. In both stories we see the idea of that what knowledge and spirituality height always have my price. In the case of being this at the price was exile from Eden, but really Lee's story Adam and Eve ends their exile from garden. Was Lee this end or only start new phases? Divine plan answer. How you now you will see lies much deeper. Stay with me, that's why what will happen further maybe fully change your sight on that what on in itself business happened after falls, after exiles from Eden. Adam and Eve were forced to live in peace, work to survive and face difficulties. Terrestrial life seems this harsh punishment, not so Lee, but at that same time there was also an opportunity living for beyond garden. Adam and Eve and their descendants were able to develop skills, accept solutions, and ultimately in the end build civilizations. But the main thing this experience for beyond garden allowed to humanity find out what it not had. What if it left in paradise? Complete realization. And here it is, big revelation. What if this was true purpose God from the very beginning? Let's on instant we read to these poor. We explored the idea of that what is can consider how symbol chaos knowledge or even catalyst free will, but that what we are getting ready research comes out for framework of this. What if Snake some kind of way was associated with the divine plan redemption? I know what this idea seems more brave, but stay with me, that's why what I'm going to show to you what such opportunity present in many religious traditions. In Christianity concept redemption includes the idea of that what original sin, that there is disobedience. Adam and Eve was necessary step by step for Togo to later Jesus could come into the world and offer redemption to humanity without falls not was would need for atonement. This lets down us to the deep question, what if would Snake was some kind of way related to this great plan atonement? Certainly we speak what Snake their atoning figure, but what if he played a central role in initiation process, which in the end will lead to salvation humanity? Now think about it together with me. Fall really was painful, but without him humanity not could would to experience freedom full of all measure, or without freedoms will not was would possibilities. Atonement others in words story Adam and Eve, this not just story disobedience and punishment. In the story of the beginning ours paths to redemption, and the Snake became catalyst put start to this travel. This seems crazy idea maybe, but think about it, that's what it's about. Without knowledge good and evil, how would humanity understand necessity? Atonement, how we can search forgiveness, repentance, and ultimately in the end reconciliation with God. Like this way fall was not the end humanity, in the beginning new phases on which humanity now I realize mine choice will have chance choose mine own path. And exactly in this moment story the Snake and the fall starts binding with the idea atonement, but not think what on this all ends in this stories. There is more, some layers which just need to study remember curse which God imposed on snake on womb yours will be walk X in all days life yours many interpret this how direct punishment snake but what if this curse has something more symbolic what if so same how Adam and Eve were expelled from garden to begin new stages life snake also was prepared new role maybe snake after falls of man became symbol permanent temptations in human life permanent reminder Tombo will be present in what struggle between good and evil. Between knowledge and ignorance will continue determine path humanity think about it snake to falls of man free walked by in the garden but after was doomed crawl and eat ashes not means lead this what snake is humanity transformed as a result falls of man what it same became introduced by yourself something more how his initial form if earlier snake was considered how creature offering about temptation and price which brings forbidden knowledge but at that same time she remains part human paths figure which makes us choose between good and evil between obedience and disobedience and behold last question which is need to study what if role snake is saved yoke what if as in Eden in the garden we experience everything temptation do choice which will determine ours fate this makes think about it not so leaf figure snake not as limited only ancient narration but quite maybe be symbolic presentation ours ongoing struggle with freedom. Will temptations knowledge chaos all these SIs still are present in our life can consider how reflection ours personal travel we came to a decision at the moment of the Supreme Court what we discussed to these poor role snakes how symbol chaos temptations and knowledge led us to this moment but there's more one last question on which to come answer maybe most important from all what is it like true knowledge snake for human nature and more Togo future how species in ours relationship with the divine if you found revelations deep be ready that's why what we are getting ready research is coming much I'll show you more to you what the story of the serpent in Eden in the garden this not just myth from past this has straight consequences for ours real and what more important ours future stay with me to end because what you will open truths which can change all you someday have you thought about it. Why snake was used how symbol temptations in Eden this could be any other animal or mystical figure but choice snakes not was random snakes on throughout all stories humanity always were perceived ambiguous sometimes how creatures wisdom sometimes how symbols betrayal and deception but many not. Realize what image snakes directly connected with our psyche with ours collective unconscious carrying meanings dating back to the origin civilizations in the ancients cultures snake often was associated with the cycle life death and rebirth in some traditions ability snakes reset skin did her symbol transformations and updates gives lead us as key to understanding true role snake in being think about it after falls of man Adam and Eve not died straight away but something inside them radically changed they exchanged innocence on new understanding reality like snake throwing off start process transformations from innocent to conscious from obedient to responsibility for mind choice this accidentally I'll dig music not myself deep spiritual the meaning is in some mystical traditions snake is symbol spiritual energy inherent to everyone man in Hinduism for example snake about kundalini is being considered how spiritual energy which at awakening leads to enlightenment and the highest knowledge personifies Lee serpent. In Eden in the garden something similar something much more strong how simple music temptation Eve fetus knowledge or rather awakened in her something ancient that what humanity to of this moment not snowed and will be back on a minute for dialogue between the serpent and Eve remember Lee you accurate words snake not you will die eyes yours you will open up to you will be how God knowing good and evil now think about it that's what it's about on in itself business snake promised something more how simple disobedience she offered to humanity opportunity to God and what this means we know what God in being described how omniscient knowing good and evil having eaten raft Adam and Eve found such same ability distinguish they became in some meaning similar to God capable accept conscious solutions distinguish good and evil but was lead this knowledge blessing or against this central question which charim what you will find maybe turn out to be much more amazing how you to yourself can you imagine. To fully understand this us need to consider concept duality and narrative being snake offers fetus which brings knowledge good and evil but to those poor Adam and Eve not knew this duality they lived in a state unity simplicity, but having eaten wrath they found themselves in the world opposites good and evil, light and darkness, life and death. And here decisive moment, snake not only introduced humanity with knowledge but also with duality existence. Think about it, about this all what we know in life founded on duality. We not can understand light not having learned darkness, we not can value life without presence death, and we not can understand good not having experienced evil offering. Fetus introduced humanity with this double reality, and this lets down us to more deep. Question: what if duality was essential part God's plan? What if would good and evil were necessary for spiritual growth humanity? At first this idea maybe show up anxious, but stay with me, that's why what will further will force you vs rethink. Now let's roam. Music. If would fall led humanity to knowledge good and evil, that redemption would not just return to innocence but elevation to more high condition consciousness. Think about it, humanity falling not only lost my innocence but also gained something valuable, ability distinguish SVODini. Music. No more how just forgiveness sins. What if on in itself business this process integrations dualities inside us, education live in balance between good and evil. This idea maybe show up radical, but she is meaning if we will see on narration books being in general Adam and Eve were expelled from Eden, but on this story not ends humanity continued mind path facing the difficulties of the external independent assessment. And here most important moment, atonement in the Bible, meaning this not just return to the original condition, purity and reconciliation humanity with God process, which suggests confession, ours duality and search balance. Now let's get back to the figure snakes. To these poor we explored opportunity Togo, what snake can consider how symbolic figure transformations, spiritual awakening. If would snake represented for each from a something more personal. Think about it, about this snake in the story being is catalyst choice. She puts Eve before choice followed by order, God or search knowledge. And what this speaks us about us ourselves. The truth is what all we are in some moment we are standing before similar choice. We face moments when we have arises temptation, go out for framework Togo what us allowed and search something more, and this one choice defines who we. What if snake is symbol temptations with which we encounter in our life? What if this represents by yourself constant task acceptance solutions which determine ours fate? Think about it, humanity starting from Eden faced with moral dilemma, with struggle between good and evil, and that's it, not that what happened in the past, this that what continues happen every day in our life. Like this way snake, this is not just figure from past and personification internal, the fight against which collides every from us, and this fight in your own queue is part our spiritual paths here moment, which often ignore concept temptation. Not need to consider this how something purely negative in itself. Business temptation can consider how opportunity when we tempt choice, and this choice what would difficulty Noah's gives us chance grow. Study develop. What if that it true meaning snakes? What if this symbol choice which we all should do on in his own spiritual paths? Stay with me, that's why we're getting ready find out what this know for future humanity. We explored opportunity Togo, what fall was necessary a step in development humanity, but now us need to go more deeper. Let's consider next question. What if would snake was far not enemy of humanity? In a certain meaning is I know you as an ally. What this idea maybe show up shocking, but think about it, without intervention snake Adam and Eve remained would be able to blind obedience, but with snake they faced with reality free will. Yes, this reality brought pain, but she also brought growth too. Now think about yours own life. How many once you faced with a difficult choice with temptation forced you accept important solution? How many from these solutions helped you grow up, learn about yourself something new? This true strength snake choice represents by yourself opportunity, accept solution and opportunity necessary for ours development. How personalities without him we were with similar automatic machines performing orders, not understanding why, but with snake with knowledge good and evil we were forced take on myself responsibility for their actions, and this responsibility defines naily you think. Music about the future us to something so this to that. What future humanity depends from choice which we do. What if snake all more is present in ours life throwing us call each instant? This maybe show up disturbing, but this also liberates. That's why what like Adam and Eve we have there is opportunity choose, and This ability by essence is for free. Snake gave us knowledge but us decide how they're used. And here big question, what choose you on? Throughout all ours life we are faced with countless snakes, difficult tempting solutions which can stories us by different paths, but like Adam and Eve we carry responsibility for mind choice, and this choice forms not only ours fate but also fate humanity as a whole. Now to finish, I want you thought about the following: what if snake whom so Dogo considered villain would catalyst something more? What if without of this humanity never would not reach Togo potential which God was intended? Music. Life consists of from elections, and what how would know was difficult, how would know was tempted. Snake responsibility for this choice lies on us, and specifically this does us for real people. Stay with us, because what this only one from many layers which maybe offer a story about snakes. If we will learn see for beyond Togo what lies on surfaces, we can discover what like Adam and Eve Nadim Nini we came to an end of this deep trips. But before how we let's finish, there's last question which we not can ignore. What on in itself business means for us today? The story of the serpent in Eden in the garden, what this ancient narration told millennia back more maybe teach us about our provisions. How about people and about cats we follow VMI music. Then more we about this we are thinking themes more we understand what this story far not just far myth or morals fable actually. Snake Eden maybe be the most powerful symbol that with which we collide everyday choice. If we will see on today world we will understand what constantly we collide with snakes, not literal snakes, a choice which throws call ours morals, ours conscience. In Eden in the garden Adam and Eve had to choose follow imposed or search forbidden knowledge. This choice forever formed their exactly so same how choice which we do forms ours life, ours career, our relationships, and ultimately in the end fate humanity. You someday were thinking about it? That in some meaning we are all in Eden in the garden. Story which start turn around, and snake always is hiding, offering us possibilities which can or raise us or lower. Now the most interesting, what if would snake was not just external figure but also a reflection, something what lives inside each from us, reflection ours own nature, ours will, ours hidden desires. Like to that how snake suggested Eve chance be similar to God. We are looking for authorities, control, knowledge not necessary, being prepared for the consequences which this in flight. However exactly this search defines our human path on. Throughout total of this video we explore different edges, snake, how symbol, chaos, knowledge, transformations, and even how part divine plan, atonement. But in the end this number speaks us about that what real question consists of not only in that what past in Eden happen in our life everyday moment we are faced with decisions which form us, and like Eve we have there is freedom choice, but great lesson which leaves us snake consists in the fact that what does everyone have choice, there is price, and here last true which I want you took away with them. Snake was not only by force destruction but also by force creation's low complexity life with good and evil, with pain and joy. And if take a closer look, this was not just fall humanity, it became beginning something much more, paths, atonement without temptation. Snake not was would free will without choice, not was would growth, without growth humanity never would not discovered my true ability, surpass like hell looking for our evolution choice which we do today. Be that technological, moral, or spiritual will determine our future. Snake in this meaning remains powerful metaphor, forces which knock down us or lead astray. If the story of the serpent and teaches something us, so this to that what knowledge, a sword against two ends, it may be raise us but it may also destroy, depending on from Togo how we as we use now responsibility and are in the hands readily we how humanity take on myself this one responsible and readily you personally face your own choice and dilemma emerging on each step. This reflection leads us to the last question, what if role snake more not completed? What if this all more part ours paths, forcing us every day choose between comfort, ignorance, and challenge, knowledge being showed us what snake may be to be both a tempter and an educator, and precisely with this duality us need to collide on in his own paths. Now when we came to an end of this in-depth analysis, I want leave to you provocative question, what will your choice from this moment? Like everyone else, Eva's there is moment acceptance solutions, maybe exactly now you are standing before important choice in your life. What The story of the serpent taught you in relation to of this solutions how you can use received knowledge to build the best future for yourself and others' choice for you, and so will always. If do you I liked it this video and you do you want continue studying these deep and compelling think about it questions, not forget put like and leave comment below what you thinking about the role snake in history humanity. Wanted know what you do you think. What if you more not signed on channel register now so what you not miss more similar content where we dive into the ancients riddles symbols and questions which to these poor find response in modern world. Yes, and no forget activate bell to receive notifications about upcoming videos in which we let's continue research similar interesting topics. Yours participation very important. Give food for reflections and in-depth content, and of course same share this video with their own friends, family, and people which just like you are looking for answers on important questions. Life remember, snake always will near throwing us call by everyone ours elections, and at the end ends really important that how we decide use received knowledge. Thank you what came in so far. Follow for next video, and before those poor continue do choice wisely and consciously. In the end ends knowledge is available but also responsibility for them same.